In this video, we're reviewing the Unagi Model One Voyager, Unagi's second model of their original scooter. This is by far one of the best performing and best looking scooters I've ever tried, but is it worth the high price tag? Let's get into it. Starting with the fundamental stats of the Unagi Model One Voyager, it has a top speed of 20 miles per hour, it has a tested range of 12 miles, and I got this going on the highest speed with both motors. And the standout feature is, as I mentioned, the dual motors, which allow for really great acceleration. Okay, so now let's get into the details of the Voyager, and let's start at the top. So at the top, the Voyager has very nice grips. It's not as cushy as some other scooters, but still very comfortable. Moving inward, we have two paddles. On the right, we have the throttle, a nice big paddle, very comfortable to use. And on the left, instead of a traditional handbrake, we also have a paddle for the brake. At first, I thought this was going to be a little awkward to use because I'm kind of used to hitting the handbrake. But instead, I found it very comfortable and I found it very powerful. I had no concerns about the brake in general. Finally, coming into the screen, right off the bat, I love the way it's designed. I like how the screen kind of integrates with the whole top. It kind of feels seamless, which is kind of Unagi's whole selling point, a very nice looking scooter. And then here we have the things that you would find on any display on any scooter. We have the battery, the range, the gear, and then whether or not certain settings are on or off. So love the whole top, love the whole display. My only negative for the top of the scooter here is the horn. And I called this out on the original Unagi Model One, and I'm gonna call it out here again. The horn is this button on the left, and instead of sounding like a bell or something very loud, it instead sounds like a beep from a microwave. It sounds like, to me, one, I don't like that noise. It just kind of sounds silly to me. And I also don't think it conveys like, hey, I'm on a bike or scooter and you need to get out of the way, please. Now coming down to the tiller and the folding. So the Unagi overall is built out of some very high-tech material. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it makes the scooter look very nice and it also makes it very lightweight. More on that later. Now to the folding. The Voyager has the best folding out of any scooter I've tried, hands down. With any scooter, there's always some kind of quirk, like you need to use a lot of power, or it's awkward to fold down, or you have to latch it in a weird way. But here, it's very simple. You push down this button, it folds down, and you don't even have to latch it into anything. So it doesn't get any easier than that. Now coming down to the deck and the wheels, there's some pros and some cons here. So the pros with the deck, it's built very well. It has this nice surface here, it's integrated very well. The whole thing is very cohesive. A lot of other scooters, you see weld marks, you see screws. Here, everything's just built together and looks like a modern product. Now, the cons with the deck and the cons with the scooter being so lightweight overall is that the deck is very narrow. It's not an issue. I never felt uncomfortable personally on the scooter, but you do notice this with kind of like the stability and security of the ride because it's not so wide, because it's not so substantial. You feel very nimble. Now looking at the tires, again, there's some pros and cons. The pros, they're solid tires, very low maintenance because they can't pop. Everything else, unfortunately, is a con. They're 7.5 inches, very small. Again, they're solid, meaning they don't have a ton of suspension and the ride can get a little bit bumpy. However, I'm usually ready to hate on solid tires, but I didn't have too much of an issue here. When I rode in bike lanes, when I rode in the street, the ride was very smooth, and this is where I rode most of the time. When you get on sidewalks, you do feel the seams between slabs a little bit, and on brick trails, you do get a little bit of vibration as you ride. But for the most part, I thought the ride was fine. However, if you like air tires, those do give you a smoother ride, some more suspension, and overall give you a nicer feel when you're riding. Now let's discuss the overall ride quality of the Unagi Model One Voyager. The standout feature here is the great acceleration. With the dual motors combined with the lightweight design of the scooter, you go from 0 to 1 very quickly, and you hit that 20 miles per hour top speed very quickly as well. The scooter overall, again, is very lightweight, smaller than most scooters. It weighs around 30 pounds. And because of this, you feel very nimble on the scooter. You can turn very quickly and it feels very graceful to ride. The converse of this is because the deck is so narrow, it doesn't weigh as much, the scooter doesn't feel as stable, it doesn't feel as substantial. I didn't feel dangerous at all, I didn't feel like I was unsafe, but if you get on a bigger scooter that weighs more, has a bigger deck, you definitely feel more balanced on the scooter. And then lastly, the real con with the scooter that really wasn't that severe comes from the tires. They're solid tires and they're 7.5 inches, which is small for a scooter. The pro here is that you have low maintenance because they can't pop, but because they're so small and because they're solid, you don't really have any suspension on the Voyager. On streets, in bike lanes, and this is where I ride for the most part, I had no issue at all. On pretty smooth streets and roads, you don't notice them at all. But once you hit a sidewalk, and especially once you hit a brick trail, you kind of feel the bumps a little bit. And if you really do hit something, you feel a big jolt because, again, there's no suspension, there's nothing to insulate what you hit. So who should buy the Unagi Model One Voyager? With a price above $1,000 and only having a top speed of 20 miles per hour and a range of 12 miles, this clearly isn't a value scooter. So if you're looking to get the best price for the best performance, you know, the best speeds, the best range, this isn't really what the Voyager is offering. Instead, the Voyager is for someone who wants a premium scooter. And it really is a premium scooter because not only does it have a great ride, but it is really easy to own. Because it's so light and it folds so well, it's very easy to take around, store, and put in different places. Because it has these solid tires, it has very low maintenance. And then obviously, it's a very good looking scooter. So if you want something that's easy to own, that's gonna be low maintenance, and that you can take around very easily, this is a good option. However, I think the rental program is really what Unagi is bringing to the table here. And this is something that I could offer to everyone because the price isn't that much of an issue like buying it is. So the rental program comes in at $70 a month and you get the Voyager, which is a scooter I like as just, you know, a standalone reviewing the scooter and not thinking about the price. And then the price of the rental program is very fair. And this is perfect for someone that's going to be, you know, a student, someone that's interning in a different city, or someone that just wants to rent a scooter and not have the issues of ownership. And so this rental program is really unique. It comes in at a fair price, and I don't think there's any other scooter brand that's offering this kind of rental program. So it's something to consider. That's my review of the Unagi Model One Voyager. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and we'll see you next time.